Discover how to maintain inner peace while navigating unconscious energy. Have you ever felt like you're carrying an invisible weight? A presence that isn't truly yours. Yet it moves through you. This weight is unconscious energy. It flows through our minds, our emotions, and even our bodies without us being aware. Sometimes, it manifests as negative emotions, anger, anxiety, restlessness. Other times, it's the feeling of being pulled in directions we don't understand. As if an unseen force is guiding our reactions, decisions, and even our fate. I want you to imagine a life where this unconscious energy no longer controls you. Instead, you become a master of it, transforming it into a source of power, clarity, and deep inner peace. But first, let's ask an uncomfortable question. If we are not fully aware of all the forces influencing us, then how much of our lives are we actually living consciously? Most people spend their days on autopilot. They wake up, check their phones, drown in distractions, and react to whatever life throws at them without questioning why. Every thought, every emotion, every reaction seems spontaneous, but is it really? Or is it simply the residue of unprocessed emotions, conditioning from the past, and energies that don't even belong to us? Let's take a step deeper. The unconscious energy within us is not just personal. It's generational. It's cultural. It's the sum of history itself. We are influenced by the energies of our ancestors, by the fears and desires of those around us, and by the unseen collective forces that shape human consciousness. When you feel anxious for no reason, when you feel a sudden burst of anger, when you feel overwhelmed, ask yourself, is this even mine? This is where inner peace is tested. Because real peace is not just sitting in silence and feeling good. Real peace is the ability to remain centered in the storm of unconscious energy arises. Imagine standing in the middle of a tornado. Yet you are untouched. That is true mastery. That is what we are here to discover. So how do we begin? The first step is to become an observer. The moment you feel an emotion surge within you, stop. Do not react. Do not identify with it. Simply observe. Ah. This is anger. Ah. This is sadness. Ah. This is anxiety. The moment you can observe an emotion without being consumed by it, you have already begun the process of liberation. But let's not be naive. This is not easy. The unconscious mind will fight back. It will trick you. It will make you believe that these emotions are you. But you must ask, who is the one observing? Who is the one aware of these emotions? That is the real you, the silent watcher. The presence beyond thought. Beyond reaction. And here is where the game changes. Instead of trying to resist or fight these unconscious energies, you learn to transmute them. Picture a martial artist who does not meet force with force but instead redirects the energy. You do not battle your emotions. You do not suppress them. You welcome them with awareness. And in doing so, you strip them of their power. Try this, the next time you feel overwhelmed. Instead of reacting, take a deep breath. Place your hand on your heart. Say to yourself, I see you. I feel you. But you do not control me. Notice how this simple act changes the entire dynamic. You are no longer a victim of unconscious energy, you are the master of it. But what about energy from others? Have you ever walked into a room and felt the tension without anyone saying a word? Have you ever spoken to someone and walked away feeling drained? as if your life force had been siphoned away. This is unconscious energy at work. The key is energetic sovereignty. Imagine your mind and body as a temple. You decide who enters. You decide what energies are allowed in. But most people leave their doors wide open, allowing anything and everything to influence them. You must learn to seal your energy field, to create a conscious boundary. One powerful way is through breath work. Breathe in deeply right now. Hold it. Exhale slowly. Again. With each breath, imagine yourself gathering your energy, pulling back all the scattered pieces of yourself that you've left in the past, in conflicts, in unnecessary worries. As you exhale, release anything that is not yours. Feel your energy consolidate. Become whole. And now, the greatest test: can you remain centered even in the presence of unconscious energy? Can you sit in a room full of anxiety, chaos, fear, and remain untouched? If so, you have truly mastered inner peace. But there is one final challenge: what happens when the unconscious energy is not from others, but from within your own shadow? What do you do when the storm is inside you? What happens when you are not just facing unconscious energy, but are trapped in the patterns of your own past? That is where the real work begins. The next part will take us into the hidden corners of our own psyche, into the forgotten wounds and suppressed energies that keep us bound. We will confront the ghosts of our past, the illusions we mistake for reality, and ultimately, we will learn how to break free. Unlocking the unconscious, facing the shadows that steal your peace. If you've made it this far, then you're ready to go where most people never dare to venture, deep into the unconscious, where hidden forces dictate our lives without us even knowing. But be warned, this is not a comfortable journey. It will shake the very foundation of who you think you are. Because to truly maintain inner peace while navigating unconscious energy, you must first expose the shadows that have been controlling you from behind the scenes. Let's begin with a question that may change everything. What if I told you that most of your suffering is not caused by the present moment, but by the past that still lives inside you? Every time you overreact to a small situation, every time you feel an unexplained heaviness, every time you repeat the same destructive patterns, it is not the present that is hurting you, it is the past that has not been resolved. You are not reacting to reality as it is. You are reacting to reality as you perceive it through the lens of unprocessed emotions, traumas, and unconscious conditioning. Take a moment to reflect. How often do you find yourself in the same painful cycles? The same arguments? The same frustrations? The same fears? Have you ever asked, why does this keep happening to me? The answer lies in the unconscious. Imagine your mind as a vast ocean. The conscious mind is just the surface, the part you can see, the part you think is you. But beneath it, in the deep, unseen waters, exists the unconscious, a world filled with forgotten experiences, suppressed emotions, and hidden fears. Every time something happens in your life, the unconscious scans its archives, looking for a past event that matches the present. If it finds one, it reacts as if the past is happening again. This is why an innocent comment from someone can trigger deep anger. This is why a small setback can feel like a catastrophe. The unconscious does not distinguish between past and present, it simply reacts. So how do we break free? How do we stop being puppets of our past? The first step is radical self-honesty. You must be willing to see what you have spent years avoiding. This is not easy. The mind protects itself through distractions, through justifications, through blaming others. But the moment you stop and say, I am ready to see the truth, no matter how painful, that is the moment transformation begins. Let's do an experiment. Think of the most painful emotional pattern in your life. Maybe it's rejection. Maybe it's feeling unworthy. Maybe it's the fear of abandonment. Now ask yourself, when was the first time I felt this way? Go back as far as you can. You will find that this pattern is not new, it has been with you for years. Perhaps even since childhood. It is not the world that is doing this to you. It is your own unconscious energy repeating itself. Here's the paradox: what you avoid controls you. What you face loses its power over you. The moment you become aware of a pattern, it weakens. Awareness is the light that dissolves darkness. If you can witness your unconscious reactions without identifying with them, they begin to lose their grip. Instead of saying, I am anxious, say, ah, anxiety is arising. Instead of saying, I am unworthy, say, ah, the feeling of unworthiness is here. See the difference? One keeps you trapped. The other creates space between you and the emotion. And in that space, you reclaim your power. But there's one more layer. What about the energy of the world itself? Even if you heal your inner wounds, how do you stay at peace when society is filled with fear, division, and chaos? You must become like the sky. The sky does not fight the storm. It simply allows the storm to pass through. Likewise, you must learn to witness the madness of the world without becoming part of it. Just because others are consumed by unconscious energy does not mean you have to be. Just because society is driven by fear does not mean you have to be. Here's a secret: the world outside you is a reflection of the world within you. If you want to change your experience of reality, you must first change your inner state. Try this practice the next time you feel overwhelmed by external negativity. Pause. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes and visualize yourself as a still mountain. No matter how strong the winds of unconscious energy blow, you remain unmoved. Repeat this: I am the stillness beneath the storm. Feel how this shifts your entire being. And now, let's go even deeper. What happens when you confront not just your own unconscious energy, but the deeper existential fear that all humans share, the fear of losing control, the fear of the unknown, the fear of death itself? This is the final gate. This is where true peace is either realized or forever remains an illusion. In the next part, we will enter the ultimate challenge, surrendering to the unknown. The final gate, surrendering to the unknown and finding true peace. If you've come this far, you are ready for the greatest realization, the one that separates those who only talk about inner peace from those who embody it. You have faced your unconscious patterns. You have seen how the past shapes your present reactions. You have learned to witness without identifying. But there is one last piece. The ultimate key to maintaining peace while navigating unconscious energy. You must surrender to the unknown. This may sound counterintuitive. The mind is obsessed with control. It wants certainty. It wants to grasp reality, to understand it, to make sure everything is predictable. But what if I told you that the root of all suffering is not pain itself, but resistance to pain? Not fear itself, but the refusal to accept fear. Think about this: every time you feel anxious, you want it to stop. Every time you feel lost, you want immediate answers. Every time life takes an unexpected turn, You fight against it. But what if the very act of resistance is what keeps you trapped? Here is a radical truth: there is no peace in control. There is only peace in surrender. Surrender does not mean passivity. It does not mean giving up. It means deeply understanding that life is beyond the grasp of the mind. It means realizing that uncertainty is not the enemy, it is the nature of existence itself. Ask yourself, what am I afraid of losing? Your comfort. Your identity. Your illusions of security. And then ask, who is the one that is afraid? You will find that fear belongs to the ego. The false self that is desperate to hold on to an illusion of permanence. But here's the thing, everything is impermanent. Your thoughts. Your emotions. Your body. Your very sense of self, these are like waves in the ocean. Constantly rising and falling. The moment you stop clinging. The moment you stop trying to freeze reality into something predictable. You begin to flow with it. And when you flow, you are free. Imagine a leaf caught in a river. If it resists the current, it suffers. If it lets go, it dances with the water. The secret to peace is not fighting unconscious energy, it is allowing it to move through you without attachment. Let's do a practice right now. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. As you inhale, feel yourself expanding beyond the limits of your thoughts. Beyond the limits of your fears. As you exhale, let go. Let go of control. Let go of the need to understand everything. Let go of the idea that you must fix everything. Just be. Just exist. Without resistance. Now, open your eyes. Do you feel the difference? That is what surrender feels like. And here is the paradox: the more you surrender, the more powerful you become. Why? Because true power does not come from control. It comes from alignment. When you stop resisting, you align yourself with the natural flow of life. You become like the river, effortlessly carving through mountains. Now, let's take it to the final level. What happens when you no longer fear death? At the core of all unconscious energy is the ultimate fear, the fear of the end. The fear of dissolving. The fear that everything we know and love is temporary. But what if, instead of fearing this truth, we embraced it? The universe itself is a dance of creation and destruction. Stars are born. And stars die. The seasons change. Cells regenerate. Everything that exists is in a constant state of transformation. So why do we cling? Because we have forgotten who we really are. You are not just your thoughts. You are not just your emotions. You are not just this body. You are the awareness behind it all. You are the stillness that remains even when everything else changes. Let's go deeper. If you knew, without a doubt, that there was nothing to lose, how would you live? If you no longer feared change, what choices would you make? If you stopped identifying with the temporary waves of emotion and thoughts, what kind of freedom would you experience? This is what it means to truly navigate unconscious energy. Not by resisting it. Not by fighting it. But by realizing that you are not it. The world may be chaotic. People may be lost in their unconscious reactions. But you are the silent observer. The presence beyond it all. And because of that, you are untouchable. This is the secret. This is the key. Inner peace is not something you achieve. It is something you remember. It has always been there. It has never left. You simply had to wake up to it. So now, the final question remains, are you willing to live from this place? Not just for a moment. Not just in meditation. But in every breath. In every interaction. In every challenge life throws your way. Because if you are, then you are free. And that changes everything.